We've always treated fantasy as escape, a place to visit, briefly, before returning to what we call the real world. But what happens when imagination becomes accessible? When myths stop being stories and start becoming places? In post-fall, technology doesn't just rebuild cities or bodies, it rebuilds meaning. Because when stories can be entered, altered, and survived, belief itself becomes a form of power. This is episode 13, where a dragon slayer isn't pretending, and fantasy is no longer an escape, but a rescue.
Luna makes this sound like something important, and maybe it is, if swords mattered, if monsters could kill you, if belief wasn't a vibe, but a requirement. Episode 13 is about going somewhere you're not supposed to, and finding out the rules only apply if you believe they do. If you're here for meaning, you might find some. If you're here for a dragon slayer, a lich, and a rescue gone sideways, then gear up.
Hi everybody, welcome to episode 13. My name is Dirk. I'm the writer of a 6-film franchise named Post Fall, and my wife Kathy is here to help us.
Good evening.
And episode 13, numerically they say, is an unlucky number, but within the 52-week year, it's a quarter. We're a quarter of the way through this year. So it's interesting that we're that far along already. We're going to continue part 2 of the virtual reality world that the Piranha has stepped into with St. George.
Okay.
I wanted to mention that last week I was talking about some bonus material named Echoes of Post Fall, which will be a music series built off of my dialogue. And I mentioned about 2 weeks before I would probably be able to get the first one out, and that's still true, but the first week went well. I do have volume 2 completed, so hopefully next week I'll be able to begin releasing this bonus material. I would say.
And are you releasing it in that, like, is it 37 minutes or is it?
Yeah, this one's
It's the
40
whole.
minutes
Okay.
long.
Okay.
This is part 2, which you won't see for a while. Again, these are for 2 reasons. One, I just like to hear my dialogue in music form, and also that there will be times in the year that I'm out of town and can't complete one of these traditional episodes. So I wanted to have these around to release them when I can't release a traditional episode. Like I was saying, that I have finished volume 2 this week, and I hope to finish volume 3 next week. I wanted to have a pair of these in reserve for when I was out of town. And once I get that third one finished next week, I'll start releasing them about once a month if I don't need them otherwise. So I was looking forward to releasing these as soon as possible. I wanted to play my favorite track from volume 2, if you don't mind.
Not sure I'm agreeing, maybe. Last time the family was caught off guard. Now they'll be prepared, not to mention you and I have killed a crap ton of their enemies. Not enough, never enough. This is still something her family needs to decide. Yes, I don't mean to be arguing with you. This just wasn't what I was expecting. Once I get her home, I still need to get back home myself. That would be the moon if you couldn't tell by my accent. Miss it, miss it, no. Then you're already home. What did they want her for anyway? Don't know. She's some rich person's kid or something. Does she have any interesting mutations? No. It's odd enough your local thugs want her. It gets weird when you mix in mine. What's your name again? Pachuco, Patuco, no Pachuco, Paso. What's Jen short for? Jennifer? Huh? Genesis, her name is Genesis. How'd you know that? I used to live in Wolf Lodge. Genesis, that's a pretty name. So where we going? My town is down there around the lake. Is that where Jen's gonna stay? No, I just need to get my dog. Where's your dog? My room at the resort, nice, I could use a spa. You wanna get going? Sure. I hope you got something good to eat at home. We're starving, no. What? I live in center of town. They can't see you too. Dang. My first trip to Earth and I can't even get a lousy t-shirt. You want a new shirt? No. Just saying this vacation sucks. If you recognize Jen, how'd you know I wasn't one of the bad guys? You caught the show, I see.
That's my favorite song from Volume 2 so far.
It's so fun. It's not funny, haha. It's just,
Yeah,
it works.
it works. So anyway, like I was saying, this is episode 13. We're going to continue part 2 of the piranha inside the virtual world. She's in Uptown trying to get home. GQ has offered her a deal that if she helps get Terran, or at least a downloaded copy of Terran, he'll end up cosmetically fixing her lips, teeth, and tongue and send her back to Earth. So she joined in with St. George to try to retrieve a copy of Terran. Before we look at the imagery for this part 2, though, if you don't mind, let me remind new listeners here or viewers that we have a goal, which is we're trying to make Post-Fall an original 6-film franchise. I typically describe it as a combination of Blade Runner meets the R-rated version of Narnia. You can read about the first 80 pages of my first screenplay on my website, postfall.com. You'll see a screenplay tab. There's also a 10-year release schedule in there, which we're in year 1, a quarter of the way through. If you have comments that you don't want to put into YouTube, go ahead and send me an email if you like as a fan at postfall@yahoo.com. And if you have any business emails, go ahead and send that to numeral 4 postfall@gmail.com. So, now we left off after the piranha in the virtual reality world that St. George uses as a fantasy overlay. She has become equipped, and they are going to enter this sword tower, which would be considered a server of a corporation, or the government in this case, where Terran's held at.
And so they're jacked in, right? They're like,
They're jacked in. This is the Matrix.
Okay, so they have like a port somewhere. How does that work?
They, just like in the Matrix where Neo's got that
Port in his head or neck.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
same idea. They got a port for this.
Okay.
They use this mirror to travel to the server, and they arrive up in a bed chamber on this cross guard. And then you guys saw last week that they went down to cross guard to the grip. Let me go back a second. So they're at the grip here, and they're looking up to the pommel.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah.
The pommel is the main battle. And they will look down in a second, down the length of the sword tower here. One second. So they approach the grip as we ended last episode. Looking down the sword tower, we got a reference image to kind of think about this, the winding stairs and rooms and what could be down there. But they're going upwards. In their way, there'll be a couple of skeleton archers. And this basically just shows what this game overlay in the Matrix of post-fall world could work right like. So the skeleton archers are going to attack them, and the piranha blocks them with her shield, while St. George displays...
D&D.
I'm sorry, go ahead, honey.
This is like D&D.
It basically is, yeah, I basically put a D&D adventure in here.
Okay.
St. George shows that he has like game barbarian skills where he can super leap up to these skeletons and smash them down.
In real life, he doesn't look anything close to what this guy looks like, right?
No.
Okay.
He is in an arcade jacked into a futuristic game module.
Okay.
And he destroys the skeletons. And here in the story, the piranha asks him, how did he do that incredible leap? And he basically tells her because he thinks he can, and tries to plant that in her mind that she can do things too. At the top of the... Go ahead, honey.
Sorry. Oh, I was going to say, I guess it doesn't matter that staircase was going down instead of up.
Well, you saw that flaw. In fact,
Yeah.
last week...
I thought you were going to say she was going to think it and jump.
No.
Somehow.
This is a flaw in the image this week. I've had a heck of a time. Episode 12 was like my best image output, just clean images, and it worked so well. In episode 13, with more of the action, I was concerned the action was going to cause a problem, and it causes problems.
Yeah.
The imagery
Not a big deal.
dropped a little bit, and the overall videos, I mean, the people that have watched this from the beginning for episode 13, they saw the pretty good quality videos we made last week, and now we're going to see a lot less videos.
That's okay. It doesn't look bad. I just noticed it. I thought it was going somewhere. I thought you were going to say she was going to jump. That's why I pointed it out.
No, that's just an image error here. They're going upwards to reach the pommel. And when they get to the pommel, it is essentially a jail cell with a torturer. I call it a giant cadaver here. Up in that little dome here, there's also a wraith creature. Within the battle, St. George is going to take on the giant cadaver while the wraith attacks the piranha. In the cells, you'll see Terran is held in here in a second.
Oh.
I have a couple battle videos, but I think I've removed them because they were just so bad. They might be here.
Doesn't look bad.
Left here. Imagery works well. This is a fine little image for the battle.
But
I took out this. I had a video for him, but it was goofy.
Oh, I see.
It just can't generate action well for me right now. So we'll just stick with that attractive image. And here's one of the wraith coming down to attack the piranha. I think this one has the video behind it. Again, it's not very good though.
Yeah.
And this is not how the battle is going to look. So it's just mildly entertaining at all. I took out the ones that weren't at least mildly entertaining.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't look bad.
No, the imagery I think is working well. It shows what's going on here in the pommel. Essentially, St. George helps the piranha defeat the wraith, and then the piranha helps St. George defeat the cadaver.
Kind of graphic.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was kind of interesting though.
You need to do a disclaimer.
Well, I already did. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
These have disclaimers on them.
Was she stuck in there?
Yeah, this is not action. It's just it stuck her sword in while disemboweling this giant cadaver. So
that's weird.
So here we find Terran appears behind the bars of his cell here in the pommel. And within the story, to remind everybody, we are on the moon right now in Uptown at an arcade named Normals. They've jacked into the Matrix to come and get a copy of Terran. Terran is an altered human from Earth who some 50 years ago downloaded his consciousness. I'm trying to remember what the year is. Essentially, it's 100 years from now in the future when the story takes place. So roughly 50 years from now, Terran downloads himself into a computer. So he is a human trapped now in digital form. Again, this video didn't quite work out, but I thought it was kind of interesting. It shows, well, here's Luna. I went to Luna. Let's come back to her in a second. The video is a little bit off, but at the same time, it kind of shows Terran being antsy, or what would you call that, Mama?
He's like very anxious. He needs to get out.
Yeah.
Or something's coming.
And here we see Luna. Luna is the futuristic master control AI on the moon. She basically has a relationship with Terran and was helping our heroes during book 1. So she had been stored in the computer system, removed from controlling the moon, essentially. And here's what she looks like in this fantasy overlay.
Good. That was slightly weird, but...
Well, I gave her a calm demeanor. She doesn't have the emotions of being behind bars. She's always been trapped in a computer.
Yeah.
We move on to their escape. They have copies of Terran and Luna, and now they're trying to get back to that portal back to St. George's Castle. Here is where the piranha attempts to use what St. George told her, that she has abilities, so she throws herself into flight and brings out the Valkyrie wings to come down on these skeletons.
Who?
Terrible combat video.
Yeah, and can I see the still image again?
Yeah, right here.
Is that blood? Is that supposed to be blood?
Her
Where
foot?
she's kicking?
It's hard for me to say. I would not think it should be blood.
Hope
No.
so. Yeah, hope it's not. I
Yeah.
thought it was blood at first. I'm like, oh,
No,
okay.
I can't pick out what that would be specifically myself. I don't think it's blood. I would think it's her boot.
Maybe it's
Like
bone in her
kicking.
boot. Yeah, it might be
Yeah.
bone, her boot, in the other hand. Okay, no, the other hand's right there. It doesn't matter. I was just curious.
And I apologize for the videos. I was so proud of them last week, and like I feared, the combat videos just aren't up to par with the time.
It's like
to
they
give
just
them.
like give up.
Yeah.
And then she hits them.
Yeah. And then from this perspective, you can kind of see if she's standing on the cross guard, which is where the bed chamber they're trying to get back to. From below is where the Lich is brought up by her zombies. And here would be like another boss battle they got to get through to get to the portal room.
Okay.
I think I might have left the bad video in here. Well, I
Why
guess
would you
first
leave it?
there's a still image. Here's a decent still image showing the Lich attacking them and the zombies attacking them.
Piranha's getting some 6-pack going.
Well,
And
she's,
yeah.
yeah,
It's on her side.
she works out.
All right. Oh.
Another inferior combat video, but I thought it was good enough just to kind of show what's going on this crossguard corridor as they try to fight their way down to that bed chamber.
Okay.
Yeah. Now from this battle,
It's like,
what's that, honey?
I was gonna say, it's like they're stuck, like she's
Yeah.
holding them back.
It just can't do it. I use VO for most video generation, and VO does not give me good motion, good combat. If there's someone out there that's doing it well, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm slowly learning these things, trying to find a better video generation for action, but at the same time, I imagine it won't really be up to par for another year. So I'm not too worried about the action videos yet, I suppose.
Yeah.
So they fight their way back to the portal, but St. George can't just lead everything through it. So he basically gives the piranha the pack holding Terran and Luna, and he's going to push her through the portal and then destroy the portal from his side.
Mm.
Again,
Yeah.
from
Oh.
St. George's hallway, Hall of Mirrors perspective, she gets pushed through and he smashes the mirror to break the portal. And
Yeah.
she assumes he's dead, and he is fighting for his life here. So she falls into St. George's Castle, the Hall of Mirrors. He smashes the portal, so she's safe with Terran and Luna. And she assumes he's dead at this point, and she leaves the castle, hoping that he returns, but before long, she understands that he's not coming back and that she's going to have to leave. So she leaves to log out and return to the arcade and jack out of the virtual reality world. So that ends that entire sequence for the 2 parts. And that also ends the imagery I have for episode 13.
Oh, okay.
So I thank you for watching along with the imagery. Some of it I did like, some of it was not as good as last week. Again, I've got to keep moving forward though, so sometimes it's just not going to be as good as others, I suppose.
Yeah. It was still good.
Well, anything on your mind, Mama, before we say goodbye?
I don't think so. I did have a question, but it's gone now. So no, I'm good. Thanks.
I want to thank everybody who's still watching and listening. I appreciate you, and I would appreciate any interaction you can give Post-Fall Channel on YouTube. It seems that long-form videos are on the way out. I'm getting very little traction on long-form, a little bit with short-form, but I just don't want to convert over to short-form for trying to promote this. I don't think I could present things well in short-form. So we'll just keep pushing forward. I still have to get all this concept art generated through the first year anyway. If you have any ideas out there how to help out the channel and get some growth, let me know. I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, thank you all very much.
Like and subscribe.
All right. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
In stories, heroes are often rewarded. They survive the fire, they walk away. But in Post-Fall, victory isn't measured by survival. It's measured by what makes it back. Tonight, a dragon slayer held the line, not for glory, but for passage, because sometimes the cost of rescue isn't paid by the one who's freed, but by the one who stays behind.
Ma'am, I've got some business. Inside that bar there, would you? Mind watching my young friend here for a minute while I take care of it? You got no business in that bar. None that's more important than that child anyways. You're back on your bike and head home. She lives down at Wolf Lodge, but since we're already here, since you don't have any, you take her home right now, you can come back and get yourself killed tomorrow. Johanna! Johanna! Honey, I've got to go inside and talk to these people for a few minutes. You stay out here until I'm done. Okay. Can I help you? Yeah. You can tell me who brought these in. Ray. He's asking about seaweed. You got an interest in turtles?